Welcome back, everyone. We're kicking off today's explainer with a ton of energy because this is a direct continuation of the vital lessons we unpacked in EP6, the fiat illusion. So in that session, we literally tore down the myths surrounding traditional currency, right? We talked all about the illusion of fiat money. But today, our source text is taking us to the next absolutely critical step. We're getting into the psychology of it all. How to actually hold on to real value without completely losing our minds when the market inevitably gets rocky. Okay, let's dive into this. What we're looking at today is a brilliant narrative-driven script titled "The Price is Not Value." And honestly, this piece perfectly captures that sheer panic we've all felt. You know the feeling, staring at a portfolio that's tanking. But more importantly, it extracts a vital lesson on how to cure that panic and hold on to real value. Section 1. Following the fiat illusion. So while we previously learned the hard math about how everyday fiat money slowly bleeds purchasing power, today we are tackling the emotional side. It's the psychological challenge of wealth preservation. Because let's be real, it's incredibly hard to hold on to any asset when the numbers on your screen are just violently flashing red. Part 2, when falling prices cause panic. To really hammer this home, the source text drops us into this beautifully chaotic scene. Picture a university lecture hall. The previous speaker, Dr. Samkiat, has just hastily fled the room. Stepping in is this 35-year-old guy named Satoshi, but he is not exactly eager to teach. He's literally leaning against the desk, yawning, getting ready for a nap. But right before he can doze off, a frantic student in the front row suddenly jumps up, wildly waving his iPad, and just shatters the piece. The student is in absolute sheer panic mode. He shoves a 5-minute crypto chart right in Satoshi's face, and it is just a chaotic mess of long, terrifying red candles plummeting straight down. The kid is yelling, "Hey, I had 4 million this morning, and now it's at 3.8 million. It just keeps dropping." I mean, he's watching 200,000 just vanish into thin air in a matter of minutes. Staring at that shrinking balance, the student screams out this ultimate frustration. How can you call this savings? And right then, the text tells us the student has this sudden flashback. He pictures his little sister at home hugging her pink piggy bank. He remembers her talking about this handsome guy who taught her to save in that golden piggy bank. The student narrows his eyes at Satoshi. He realizes this sleepy, laid-back dude standing in front of him is probably that exact same guy. So he throws this challenge at him, basically hoping to catch him in a lie. But before Satoshi can even get a word in, another character, Alicesa, leans over to look at this chaotic graph. Her brows are completely furrowed. And she speaks up with a really fantastic question, one that honestly validates the natural fears all of us have about extreme market volatility. She says, "I was wondering the same thing. If it swings and disappears by 200K at a time, how can we possibly hold it long term?" Now, what's really interesting about this slide is Satoshi's reaction. He doesn't panic at all. He just closes his eyes, rubs his temples, and lets out this massive, exasperated sigh. He mutters, "Oh, humanity. The moment you see a little red, you lose your minds." Then he looks right at them and delivers this absolute mic drop of a line. "You're people. You love to point a microscope at a mountain and then scream that the mountain is shaking and collapsing." Section 3. 3 lenses cure blindness. This is the big turning point. Suddenly, this little AI pocket dice Satoshi carries around, named Bitra, starts frantically beeping. The AI goes, "Panic! Cell detected! Please advise before they miss the train." Satoshi grumbles about the AI bothering him when he's trying to rest, but he knows he has to act. He has to cure their short-term blindness right then and there. Let's move to Genie and see how this builds. To fix their perspective, Satoshi taps the AI dice and snaps his fingers. Boom. 3 distinct holographic screens project right into the air, side by side. On the far left, step 1, you've got the 5-minute chart. Pure chaos. Red and green candles violently swinging up and down. Step 2, in the middle, is the 1-year chart. The noise starts to fade, and this gradual upward trend emerges. Finally, step 3, on the far right, is the 10-year chart. From this widened view, all those tiny daily fluctuations completely vanish. What's left is this massive, curving line rocketing upward, a golden wall. Moving on to part 4, how price differs from value. Notice how the story shifts here. We are transitioning entirely away from that sheer panic of a 5-minute drop and stepping into deep, calm, long-term clarity. Satoshi uses these glowing screens to teach a Socratic lesson about the fundamental difference between what something costs right this very second and what it is truly worth over a lifetime. And this brilliantly illustrates the core lesson today. Satoshi points to that chaotic 5-minute chart on the left and says, price is the sound of people shouting loudly in a market. Then, he casually walks over, tops that incredibly strong 10-year chart on the right, and says, but value is what still stands tall even after the market stops shouting. It's such a powerful contrast. The short term is just noise, but the long term is a towering mountain of value. The frantic student's jaw practically hits the floor as he looks back and forth between the 5-minute chaos and the 10-year golden wall. He looks at Satoshi and asks, does this mean I was looking too short term? Satoshi gently shakes his head. It's not that you were looking too short term, it's that your objective is entirely wrong. And then he drops this hard truth. You are taking a tool meant for preserving value, and you are treating it like a slot machine in a casino. Hearing this, Alicesa gets this massive aha moment. Her eyes just light up. She summarizes the whole shebang perfectly for us. She goes, oh, I get it. If we use it to speculate, we only see headache-inducing volatility. But for long-term value, we need a long enough time frame. Literally, hit the nail on the head. This right here is why zooming out is the absolute key to both your mental peace and your financial success. Satoshi gives this little half smile, like a proud elder watching his students finally get it. He tells Alicesa she's a quick learner today. She beams with pride, puffs out her chest a bit, and then smack. Without warning, Satoshi casually flicks her right on the forehead. She jumps back, holding her head like, hey, you said you didn't need to flick me today. Satoshi just deadpans. That was a preemptive strike, just in case you go back home and open up that 5-minute chart again. Right on cue, the system hologram chimes in and flashes, mission complete, plus 100 points, mindset fixed. The panic is totally gone. The lesson is learned. Satoshi casually turns back to that first student and asks, by the way, ask your little sister for me, is her piggy bank full yet? The scene fades out with Satoshi finally getting to take his nap, while that massive, glowing 10-year golden graph just stands tall right behind him. It's such a striking image, and it leaves us with an incredibly provocative question for our own financial journeys. The next time your portfolio drops, are you going to stare through the microscope at the noise, or are you going to step back and look at the mountain? Keep zooming out, everyone. See you next time.